You delete it, then it goes away from there?
No, when you open it, it disappears.
No, Snapchat or Instagram?
Snapchat.
So Snapchat, what about Instagram? Why is that popular?
Oh, I don't know.
You can delete it, so if you delete it, it goes away from there on your phone? Well, that's genius. My gosh, my whole life could be simpler then, right? I could say terrible things about my friends and then delete it.
I have a question now about class.
Sure.
I'm like really not trying to be rude, so sorry if it comes out that way. But is there any possible way for you to post the lecture videos a little bit earlier?
No, you're absolutely right. And I'm sorry about that. I got caught. This past couple weeks has been bad, and my goal is to get next week's up today or tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you. Stuff outside of class and school has been going on, and it's caused me to get a little bit behind. But that is my goal to get caught up. Well, no, thank you for asking. I think that's exactly my goal. That was always my goal, was to have them up a week before. So my hope is that this week I will be on target with that. Does anybody remember this? What was the last one? And what happens magically when these three things happen? What magically happens when those three things happen? Attachment, right? We are finishing up the chapter on attachment. And I promised you that we would go over problem, I think it was 42, is that right? So let's take a look at the problem dealing with, yes, 42 and 100. Okay. This is not going the way I went. Okay, so problem 42, we have a debtor named Roy Gabriel that owns a store and owes $35,000 to OMB, right? And the question is, when did attachment occur? So, three different kinds of collateral, right? It was a pipe, guitar, pitch pipe, and trumpet, right? Okay. Was there value? What was the value? Just throw it out the group. The loan, right? The $35,000. Was there an agreement? What was that agreement? There we go. How easy is it? Oh my gosh, is he not going to push us all? Value and agreement occurred. So there's no issue. The last question here refers to what happens if there were something different happen. This is the issue, right? Does the debtor have rights in the collateral? When does the debtor have rights sufficient to create a security interest in the guitar and the pitch pipe? So when does the security interest attach? In the guitar and the pitch pipe. All right, let me ask you this way. What is the language of the agreement about the collateral? All existing and after acquired inventory. Okay, so was the guitar in the store on the date of the loan? And how about pitch pipe? So what's the date of attachment? That all sounds right, but it sounds like a little bit louder, so your friends over on the far side can agree. What's the date?
January 6th.
January 6th. Do you guys agree with January 6th? Yes? I see somebody shaking their head no.
I thought no.
Why not?
Well, because the security interest is for the instruments that are going to be received on March 30th.
What does the security agreement say covers? What kind of collateral? Do you agree that value has been given and that there is an agreement? I just want to make sure that we're on the same page with that. You agree that these two things have happened, right? Ross. You all right? Yeah. I just want to make sure. You agree value and agreement? You don't disagree with that. The issue is, does the debtor have rights? So what is the collateral that's covered by the agreement?
Could be the
No, don't look at, not the actual item. What is the description of the agreement? What does the security agreement says the security interest covers?
for the instruments that they're purchasing.
Well, I thought we said it was inventory. Okay, so I just want to make sure we understand this. We look at the agreement to tell us what collateral is covered. It says inventory. Exactly how does it say it, Ross?
These are security agreements make the OD and interest all existing and after acquired inventory.
And what, the last part?
Existing and after acquired inventory.
In the store. Okay, I just want to make sure that's the full, right? Okay, great. So what date does all three of these things, what's the last date when all three things occur?
On March 30th.
Well, did they already have an agreement?
It's on January 6th.
And has value been given?
Yes.
And is there inventory in the store? What date is that?
January 6th.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm not trying to pick on you. This is important. The last of the events to occur that is those three things is when the attachment occurs. Unless, can you delay attachment? The statute says yes. If you look at 203, okay, so 9203. Subsection A, the security interest attaches to collateral when it becomes enforceable against the debtor with respect to the collateral unless an agreement expressly postpones the time of attachment. And then subsection B tells us when is it enforceable, right? It's enforceable when these three things have occurred. That is January 6th with respect to the guitar and the pitch pipe. Now, I think what you're looking at is the trumpets. Okay, I didn't ask about those. But so let's talk about the trumpets, right? There's a difference. Was it January 6th for the trumpets?
No.
Why not? That's a correct answer. Why is it not January 6th for the trumpets?
The dealer doesn't have possession.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Is possession the time when they have rights for this problem?
It's for I think it's statute for when ships.
When does the debtor have sufficient interest in the trumpets such that they could grant a security interest in them?
I
Well,
thought it was March 15th when shipped from.
so it's possible it's March 15th. That's when they're identified to the contract, right? So I think let's start with March 15th. Is March 15th the date? If the question is when does the debtor have rights in the collateral, then it's certainly March 15th they have rights in the collateral, Ross, right? I mean, Ross is correct about that. Is there a delay according to the security agreement? Well, so looking at the language, when does the security interest attach? It's in all inventory, now, longer, hereafter acquired. That is, does that delay the time? Does it have to be physically in the store? Do they have to have possession? Does it have to be on display in the store before the security interest attaches? If you were reading this contract and you were advising your client, would you tell them it doesn't attach until it's in the store?
Um,
I know you feel like I'm picking on you, but
No.
you're doing a good job, so don't worry about it. If your client came, if the bank came to you, ONB came to you and said, I think we're perfected on March 15th, would you hesitate and say, I'm not sure about that?
currently, yes.
Why?
Um,
What worries you?
well, the statute where it says, when goods are, well, see, a contract is the sale of future goods other than those described in paragraph C, when goods are shipped, marked, or otherwise designated by the seller as goods to the contract.
So that language from Article 2 seems to suggest that the debtor has rights in the collateral when they're identified to the contract, which is March 15th. Does under 9203A, does the security agreement here delay the time of attachment? So you're right, absolutely right, about the law under Article 2, the debtor has rights in the collateral when they've been identified to the contract, which they were on March 15th. Do you think that the language in the store delays that application? I emphasize this only.
The security interest attaches to collateral and becomes enforceable against the debtor with respect to the collateral,
Yeah.
unless an agreement expressly postpones the contract.
Do you think that the in the store expressly delays postpones the time of attachment?
Yes.
At least arguably, right? I don't know. Sloppy language. If ONB intended to have a security interest when you first said, which is March 15th, they should never have added the language in the store. Because maybe the in the store is just a toss-away phrase. But here's your problem. You're in front of a judge, and the judge says, well, you wrote in the store. Is it possible that the judge could say, I'm holding you to the contract that you signed, you had the debtor sign? Sorry, the debtor had to sign. Okay. Questions about that? So I think it's probably no later than March 30th. Maybe March 15th, but I'd have to be good at arguing to the court that the language in the store was just intended to suggest it's inventory that they're selling, not that it had to be physically present. Yeah, question.
So in that type of situation, say we're gonna say that it's delayed by the price in store. What if he gets the trumpets and just never puts them in the store, but they are his inventory? Is there any way they go after for fraud?
Leaves them in the warehouse, doesn't put them in the store, sells them over the internet. So why would there be fraud?
I'm just thinking about it, and I'm not 100% confident with this. It's not off my head, but I figured if he's sort of representing to them that he's like going to use their money to acquire inventory and sort of sell it through the store, and then he doesn't do that, then he is defrauding the creditors.
So why would it be fraud if it's the clear language of the contract? I guess I'm worried that we're saying that they're tricking the bank, but the bank knows what it agreed to. It agreed to stuff in the store. Did they have an agreement that said you must put everything in the store? I don't know that fraud works if there's no other obligation. Right? Fraud, you have to actually mislead somebody. They make a statement. They rely to their detriment on that statement. And they are, fraud has several elements. And there needs to be a statement that makes somebody change their position in reasonable reliance on that statement. And in fact, they do rely and are harmed. Before we get to fraud, I think the court would go, it's the agreement you made. Why would I hold this guy to anything other than what he agreed to? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm just wondering like what stops basically they're in a situation from finessing the creditor, but
A stupid creditor. It's their deal. What did they negotiate? If they want it to be all inventory wherever located, how do you do that? You just say all inventory. You don't even have to say wherever located. You just say all inventory. The bank agreed to in the store.
Is it relevant, like, if he has control over the trumpets since he doesn't have possession?
I'm looking at that clock and it's completely wrong.
Yeah.
Say that again. So he has control but not possession.
Yeah.
Well, it's relevant to does he have rights, right? Because the standard for attachment is not possession. The standard is rights in the collateral.
Does he say he has control because since he's like contractually obligated?
I'm sure, when you say control, I'm not sure because I hesitate. I don't like that word only because it has meaning in Article 9 outside of this context. You control deposit accounts. You control electronic child pay. That actually has a defined meaning. So if you're using it in that sense,
So
it's
you
good.
only have possession because you can't really have control because that
For Article 9 purposes, control is a defined term. Control is usually associated with a form of intangible where there isn't a way to have physical possession. So goods, it would be possession. Yeah. All right? All good questions. These are, this stuff I get, it can be a little complicated. That's why I'm spending time. The last event to occur of these three things creates attachment. That's why the trumpets, it's not January 6th, because the debtor doesn't have rights in the trumpets to at least as late as, by March 15th, right? They don't own it. And maybe March 30th because of the way the contract is. I think it's an over-technical. I think 30 is an over-technical reading of this, but I can see a court saying, hey, it's the words you used. You didn't want those words, don't use them. It's on you. I don't think fraud comes in here because if the security party says, well, I only care about what's in your store, and the company has a huge warehouse where they sell directly out of the warehouse and it's not a store, ONB can change the contract, right? They made the deal. So that's on the bank. I'm not too worried about that. Okay, questions? B. Does your answer change if we add the fact that the bank filed for proper financing statement covering Gabriel's inventory on January 7th? They filed the financing statement on January 7th. How does that affect attachment?
It doesn't.
Why not?
Because you get attachment when the last of it is.
Financing statement is irrelevant to attachment. Who cares? What is that? Perfection. Attachment is about the relationship between the creditor and the debtor, their contract. Perfection is about the creditor against third parties. So the only question here is, can the creditor foreclose on the collateral? And the answer is, at the point attachment occurs. Okay. Can a financing statement be filed before the security agreement is signed? Yes. You will see that that's the case. It's called ipso facto authority. Signing of the security agreement gives authority to file a financing statement, and later signing of a security agreement can ratify prior filing of a financing statement. But we're not doing that today. That's next week. Let's see. Why would a creditor wish to file a financing statement before the security interest is attached? To perfect immediately upon attachment. Right? So it's filed in advance. Attachment occurs. A perfection occurs the minute it attaches. All right, question C. If the bank did not advance any money until March 31st, and if the bank did not make any commitment to advance money until that date, when did the security interest attach? Sure.
You say March 31st because that's when value was given?
It's really this simple. When's the last day when one of these all three things have to happen? That's the day when attachment occurs. So it's that simple. March 31st. They delayed giving value until March 31st. Now, what if they say, we will advance you money whenever you ask for it. Is that valuable? All you have to do is ask.
I think they're just gonna ask for the money and get it.
Well, let's say they don't ask for 6 months. Has the bank given value if the promise is whenever you want?
Yes.
Why?
Because if they are agreeing to advance the money at that point, regardless, they have the right to like give them money at that time that they're making that agreement between them.
The commitment to lend is value. Right? If you have a legal obligation, a commitment to lend. So you promise, line of credit, for example, we'll lend you $100,000 when and if you ask for it. And that promise is a guarantee, right? We will do it up until the time, at any point when you ask for it. That's value. Because the debtor can ask for the money whenever they want. So they don't actually have to lend the money. They have to make a commitment to lend the money. Now, if they don't make a commitment to lend until March 30th, then that's when the attachment occurs. But if they, on January 6th, say, whenever you ask, we'll send you a check, that is value. I think from a contract perspective, that makes sense, don't you think? I mean, it's actually a consideration for a contract for someone to promise to give you in advance. You get a credit card, and the credit card company says, we'll advance you money to buy whatever you want with this card. Do you have a contract with that company on the day that they give you the card? Considerations sufficient to support a simple contract is value. That's in the definition of Article 1. Okay. So if I write a question and I say the bank commits to lend, have they given value? Please have your mind. Yes. Yes. The promise to advance money is value.
So we say a commitment to give the value at a future date, that would not be an express agreement to delay attachment?
Well,
Okay.
no, because it's a current promise to advance money whenever asked for. So it's not, it has nothing to do with attachment. It's just a promise about when credit will be extended. So an obligation, an agreement to delay attachment would have to be just that. You have to say, and attachment will not occur until a later such date or a later date or whatever. Yeah. So here the in the store part, the question is that really an express statement to delay attachment? I'm not sure it is, but I can see a court saying it was. Good? All right. 43. Thank you, Bob. Okay. Let's see. We have Daniel Hearn loaning money to Jennifer Ontario to buy a car. He was listed as a creditor on the car. Does he have security interest?
I say no.
Why not?
Because in the cases that it listed, it said that if you're on a certificate of title, it doesn't create security interest without a separate agreement.
Wait, what's missing?
The agreement.
You need a contract. Can you have an oral contract that is valid for creation of security interest?
Yes.
Okay. And under what circumstances does what has to change about the relationship between the creditor and the debtor? Sorry, the creditor and the collateral in order for an oral agreement to be. Okay. I'm going to give you a hint. 9203B3B.
Oh, it has to be in possession.
Okay. Did the creditor have possession of the car? According to the problem.
In this problem, no. So,
No written agreement, no oral agreement with possession, therefore no attachment. Okay. Now there was a case that was cited that the court was okay with the title being a substitute for the security agreement, but that was because of the way there was an application that was signed by the debtor and the secured party was listed as the lender was listed as a secured party on the certificate. The court looked at all the documents together and said, composite document rule, we've got an agreement, a written agreement signed by the debtor. And in the Ford case, I don't know if that was clear, right? It doesn't look like there was all the parts together lining up to give you an agreement. Courts certainly, I mean, we're talking about contract law here. And if you remember from contract law, we can take various pieces of paper and put them together and create a contract, a written contract. But here, in the way the problem's written, it doesn't appear that we have it. So the only way there could be attachment is if the creditor had possession of the collateral with an oral agreement to create a security interest. So it has to be an agreement. It's just that under 9203B3B, that agreement can be a spoken one, not a written one. Everybody good with that? Okay. 44. So now we're looking at the bottom of 100. Acro owed considerable funds to the bank. The bank subsequently obtained possession of variable promissory notes, and because they were closed in the bank's offices, the notes were put in the bank vault. Did the notes become collateral? Was there value? Did the bank lend money to the debtor? Did the debtor have rights in the promissory notes? Was there an agreement to create a security interest? Again, very simple, right? Look at these three things. You need an agreement to create a security interest. Now there's possession by the creditor of the collateral. Can you get a security interest? Can the security interest cover be created without a written agreement? Yes. Again, 9203B3B. Right? There are circumstances where possession will allow an oral agreement for security interest to stand. They had possession, but there was no agreement. Merely having possession by itself does not create the agreement. It's just evidence of the agreement. But if the debtor testifies in court and says, well, I never agreed to this, and everybody believes them, then there's no attachment. This part of the stuff is pretty formulaic, right? Look at 9203, understand how it works. Three things, all three have to occur before attachment occurs. Okay? And it's the last act creates the time when attachment occurs. Yep.
Could you just explain B3B again?
So B3B, 203B3B, says we can have a security agreement that is oral. So no written agreement, no authenticated, no signed document. If the agreement exists at the same time as the secured party having possession of the collateral. Think of it as evidence. 9203 is often described as a statute of frauds. What's the statute of frauds? Anybody? What's the statute of frauds? Contract has to be in writing. Why? Why do we have a statute of frauds? Do all contracts have to be in writing?
No.
So why do we have a statute of frauds?
You want proof for those categories of sale?
Yeah, there are certain contracts that we really want to have good evidence they exist, right? An agreement to lend somebody your book. Contract. Hey, don't care if it's oral. Doesn't matter. Sale of real estate has to be in writing. Okay. Security interest, where the secured party does not have possession. You need to have it in writing. You want a written document signed by the debtor establishing the existence of the agreement. The possession under 9203B3B, and then control, under B3C, I think. That's a substitute of evidence, right? Why does the creditor have possession of the collateral? That looks like evidence of the existence of the security interest. It's a statute of frauds. How do we establish that these three things have occurred? All right, so 44, we're done. Everybody, questions about that? We're good about that? All right, the case is a little confusing. Bar Schwartz wants to buy rice. TradeX has the rice, or can arrange for the rights to sale, but Barr Schwartz hates Tradex, we don't know why. But they really like Howell. So Tradex and Howell get together in an agreement that I kind of feel like you were talking about fraud earlier. This feels a little bit like cheating, doesn't it? That's what this is about. Barr Schwartz wants to buy Rice. They don't like Tradex. They won't buy from them. Howell, they don't like their Rice, but they will buy from them. So Howell arranged for Tradex to sell their Rice to Barr Schwartz through Howell. What's the problem? Who is First National Bank? First National Bank is Howell's lender, and they have a perfected security interest in Howell's accounts. All right, so we have Barr Schwartz, Howell, Tradex. There's some kind of relationship here. The Rice is coming from here, but the contract is with Howell. And then Howell has an agreement here, right? What is Howell's role in this relationship? Howell books an account for the sale to Barr Schwartz. Actually, in its books, writes down, account owed to us by Barr Schwartz for the sale of Rice. FNB says, that account is ours, because we have a perfected security interest. And so the only question that the court has to answer is, was that agreement between Howell and Barr Schwartz a letter of credit or an account? The court concludes, what? It's a letter of credit. Because, why? Because it's a letter of credit, right? It's actually a document called a letter of credit. And the court says, guess what? They exist. This is not fake. Article 9 defines them. They're a real thing. And you can't take something that has the nature of being a letter of credit and turn it into an account. Sorry, it doesn't work, according to the court, right? Because it's not an account, the debtor doesn't have rights in the collateral. A letter of credit is its own thing. They did not have a security interest in letters of credit. They had a security interest in accounts. It's not an account, therefore they have no security. That's what this case stands for. The definition, or the coverage of the type of collateral described in the security interest governs what rights we're worried about. And if the security agreement says one thing and the debtor has a different kind of right, it's not covered. If it says goods, and what you have is a promissory note, it's not covered. That's all this case stands for. However complicated it was, it is just asking you to understand the rights we're talking about are the rights in the collateral described in the agreement. It was a letter of credit, it was not an account, therefore it's not covered. That's all this case is about. Does that help? When you read the case again, I see it here, page 103, second paragraph. As the parties would frame the issue, if the letter of credit is an account receivable, First National is entitled to proceeds. If not an account receivable, the assets go to Tradex. It's that simple. What is it? If it's not covered by the security agreement, rights don't, the rights that the debtor has are irrelevant to the question of attachment. Okay. Now, that's it. Well, good. We're feeling lucky, right? Before we move on, I want to make sure you all feel good about attachment. 3 things. Value rights agreement. All right, that's how this is shorthand. You need to understand in greater detail how 9203 works. But the first part, value, is pretty straightforward. Did the bank lend money or commit to lend money? Agreement. Do we have an agreement to create a security interest? And if it's not, if there's no possession or other form of one of the 203b3 examples, there has to be a written agreement signed by the debtor, unless there's possession or control. Right? Keep reading down the list. So mostly we're going to require a written agreement. And the debtor has to have rights in the collateral described in the security agreement, not other collateral. If it's not described in the security agreement, it does not count. And that's what that case is. All right? You're not as excited about this as I am. I think this is like super fun. This stuff is just straightforward statutory reading, right? Read the language of the statute, apply it to your facts. If they fit, you have a security agreement, a security interest. If they don't, you don't. Okay, so now we're moving on to perfection. I posted a little thing on the Blackboard site about why we care about perfection. We care about perfection because if you're perfect, you beat everybody else out. So who has to be perfect? A letter, but what kind of letter? Secured party. Yes. Okay. The secured party wants to be perfect because if they're not perfect, they can lose their security interest to other people. More accurately, they can lose their priority in their security interest. But remember, if the security interest doesn't even attach, we don't even have this. There's no security interest to worry about. You have to have this first. So essentially, there's 4 steps to perfection: attachment, 1, 2, 3, value rights agreement, and 4, a method of perfection. To be perfect, you need all 4. If you don't have attachment, you don't have perfection because you don't have security interest. So who cares? All right. Today, we're looking at 2 kinds of perfection: automatic and by possession. Now you'll see this possession thing plays a dual role. The possession can be evidence of the security agreement and also the method of perfection. Right? So possession can have 2 purposes. 1, it proves the existence of the security interest, and 2, it's a method of perfection. The second thing we're looking at is automatic perfection. So it's essentially, I lied about the 4th step. No, I'm sorry, I lied to you. There's no 4th step. Automatic perfection is perfection that happens when attachment occurs. So when the 3 things have happened, you don't need to do anything else. And we're going to get into when it happens in a minute when we go through the problems. But as I described in the lectures, the big one is a purchase money security interest in consumer goods. The biggest automatic perfection that we're going to talk about, not the only one, the big one, is expected security interest in consumer goods that was given in order to allow the debtor to acquire the collateral. Purchase money security interest. Okay, and I encourage you to go listen to the video on this, look it up, do the problems on Cali. PMSI confuses people. There are 2 kinds of purchase money security interests. There are the ones that are going to give you automatic perfection, and then there's the other kinds. But the idea of what a purchase money security interest is good for all collateral. If the secured party advances the money to help the debtor acquire interest in the collateral, and the money is used to acquire interest in the collateral, then that loan is a purchase money security interest. Automatic perfection covers consumer goods that are purchase money security interests, PMSI. So what we're talking about today is purchase money security interest in consumer goods. That's the automatic side. All right. The main method of perfection, which we will study some more next week, is filing. 9310. You must file unless, and that's how the Article 9 is set up. So when we talk about the 4 things that have to occur to create a perfected security interest, the 4th one is usually filing a financing statement. That's because 9310A, you must file unless. So unless there's a reason that you don't have to file, you have to file. And I'm going to give you a tip. There are certain kinds of collateral that you can only get a perfected security interest in by filing. A good example is general intentions. You cannot get a perfected security interest in general intangibles any other way. Half the file. You cannot possess a security interest. You cannot possess a general intangible. We have a problem on that today. All right, so that's the lead into working the problems. Possession and automatic. Those are the two first cons. All right, then there's also control. And filing is the big one. We're mostly going to do filing, unless there's one of these other ones. All right, so let's take a look at problem 45. Now, perfection by possession is often referred to as pledge. That is the historical name for a perfection by possession. Mostly, it covers tangible goods and quasi-tangible goods. Why do you think that is?
You can't possess something that is intangible because it doesn't belong to you.
No, it's really that simple. We don't allow perfection by possession of things that you can't possess. Okay? You can physically possess physical goods, and you can also physically possess quasi-tangibles, which are usually documents where the paper represents another right, like a promissory note. You can possess a promissory note. All right, now, we will talk later about the relationship of which is the preferred method of perfection. These are not always exclusive. So general intangibles filing is the exclusive method of perfection. Money, cash, bills that are legal tender. You can only perfect by possession. You cannot file a financing statement on money. You have to possess it. But for many kinds of collateral, there's overlap. You can either possess or file. You can do both of those things. And we'll talk more about that next week when we talk about the filing system. And I will go over the overlap. So we can see when you can do both. And sometimes there's a preferred method and sometimes there isn't. Filing covers most kinds of security interests. But for example, it doesn't allow, you can't get a perfected security interest through filing in money. And money is defined as legal tender. All right, let's talk about problem 45. All right, I have about half an hour left. You don't have that many problems, but they probably get a little complicated. Let's see if we can get through most of them pretty quickly. But if you have any questions, stop. So we have the diamond currently on display in the Astor Museum. Molly, a wealthy Colorado investor, has agreed to buy the diamond, and she has made a substantial down payment with an agreement to make 3 more payments before she gets possession. So do we have credit? Yeah, right. There's a loan. We have an agreement to pay money back. Gracie and Brown signed the purchase agreement, which contains a clause granting him a security interest in his own diamond until she has made the required payments. Do we have a written agreement? Yes. Was it signed by the debtor? Yes. Okay, great. We have an agreement. Does the debtor have rights in the collateral? She's already made a down payment. So we have rights and value, because there's a loan extent. Attachment has occurred. As between the secured party and the debtor, they have a contract that's enforceable. Security interest has attached. His question to you is this: can he perfect a security interest in the diamond by simply notifying the Astor Museum of the sale and telling the museum to hold it for his benefit until she makes payment in full, thus creating an escrow arrangement in which possession is held by the escrow agent? Who here doesn't know what an escrow agreement is? Nobody's gonna raise their hand. Okay, that's fine. Nobody wants to admit they don't know. All right. So my first piece of advice is when you read something and you see it, you don't know what it is, you should look it up. If you have ever purchased a house, you probably are aware that from the time of signing the purchase and sale agreement to the day of closing, when you actually get title of the house, time will elapse. There's a down payment that is usually made at the time you sign the contract, right? You give it $10,000 to the buyer to hold until the time as the closing occurs. That money goes back to the buyer if for some reason the deal falls through. But if the deal goes through, then that money goes to the seller. Well, the money has to go somewhere, right? So who has the money, usually?
Bank.
The bank. Could be the bank. Could be the real estate agent, right? But not the buyer and not the seller. That's the escrow agent. They essentially have created an escrow arrangement. Whenever there are funds being held by somebody for the benefit of other people, and they have a contract that tells them when to disperse the money, that's an escrow arrangement. And they come up in many circumstances. Very common in a purchase arrangement. Down payment is made. You're the buyer. You're a little worried. Maybe you got to do an inspection of the house. Do you want to inspect your house for termites before you buy it? Yeah. If it's riddled with termites, do you want to buy it? No. So you put a clause in the contract that says, if I find termites, I don't have to buy the house. I get my money back. The escrow agent will say, no problem. Just send me a note from the termite inspector that there are termites. I get my money back. Okay. That's what this arrangement is. So when they're talking about an escrow agent, they're just talking about somebody holding the money for the period of time before the sale is complete. Hold the house. All right. Can we make that escrow agent have their possession equal perfection? Or said differently, can the escrow agent, acting as a bailee, be contractually obligated in a way that allows the secured party to claim that their possession is the same as the secured party's possession? And the answer is yes. In order for it to occur, what do we have? What do we have to have?
Don't they have to give some kind of acknowledgement or some kind of record that they're doing that?
An authenticated record, acknowledging the fact that they're holding for the benefit of a third party. What do you think that authenticated record would be? Sorry?
Who's already signed it?
Yeah, well, who particularly has to sign it?
Well, it's called.
The bailee has to sign it, exactly. So the escrow agent. So I would put it in the escrow agreement. But it doesn't have to be in the escrow agreement. It can just be a piece of paper that says, I hereby agree that I will hold this property and that my possession will be for your benefit as a secured party. I hold it for your benefit. That's it. That's all it has to be. Yeah.
It could be like a voicemail or email as well.
Well, it has to be an authenticated record. So anything that meets the definition of an authenticated record. So an email with a typed signature, I hereby agree to the terms of this, that would work too. Yes. That's why it's not written document, it's authenticated record. So an email would cover it. So here at it's the museum, right? The museum is holding the diamond. The museum can become a bailee who agrees by contract that their possession is for the benefit of the secured party. Okay. Now, if the museum says no, what does the creditor have to do? Well, what would be the easiest thing? They could find somebody else. Let's say they can't find somebody else. What do they have to do in order for possession to be perfection? Well, they could file, but they're not going to file. So what do they have to do? Take possession. Yeah. As long as, so I just want to start out with this problem. The easy answer is that the creditor takes possession. And if you think of a bank, does a bank have a place where it can put valuable property? It's called a vault. Yes. So that's how a bank would do it. They would just say, we're going to put it in a vault. Okay? But it's perfectly fine for it to be the museum. Fine. Okay. Remember I mentioned that money can't be perfected by any other method than possession? You would have a signed agreement with the person who's running the cash register. Right? The person standing at the cash register. I hold possession of all the cash in this register for the benefit of the secured party. That would be good too. Now, we move on to the next problem. And the next problem describes a field warehouse. Did you understand what a field warehouse was? I'm going to say maybe not. Field warehouse, well, what's a warehouse?
Something that you store goods in.
A place that you store goods in, right? So a warehouse is a building where people put stuff. What if it's not convenient to move things to a warehouse? You can create a warehouse out in the field. So wherever the property is located, a company could come along, fence the stuff off, put a guard in front of it, and say, this is the warehouse. So instead of moving into a building called a warehouse, you create a warehouse where the collateral is located. Is that what they tried to do here? Exactly what they tried to do here. What room at Kitty Delight did they try to make the warehouse?
A locked room
Where was it located?
in the actual store.
So we have a company named Kitty Delight that wants to create a security interest in its inventory. And where are they creating the warehouse? At their own plant. Does this seem a little shady? Can possession by the debtor ever be possession for the creditor, for the secured party? Never. Otherwise, every security agreement would say, and everything you hold for our benefit. Right? The debtor would sign a contract that says, oh, you're our agent. Article 9 says you cannot do that. The debtor cannot ever take possession of its own property for the benefit of the secured party. That's kind of what it looks like here, though. Who does Mort work for? It's Fred's warehouse. Who does Mort work for?
The debtor. He's the debtor.
He's their janitor. How much did they pay him to be the field warehouse agent? $1. He was getting a paycheck from the debtor. Is he an agent of the debtor? Yes. If you've taken agency law in any class here, this is a classic agency situation. Mort is an agent of Kitty Delight. Kitty Delight is the debtor. Therefore, he is the debtor. But he also signed this other agreement that made him an agent of Fred, the field warehouse company. So what the drafters of the book are trying to have you do is look at this and say, wait a second. The debtor can never have possession for the benefit of the creditor of the secured party. That's illegal. So the first question we're going to ask here is this a sham relationship between Mort and Fred? If it's a sham, there's no security interest because there's no perfection because the possession by the debtor can never be for the benefit of the creditor. Perfection, no, it doesn't work here either. Okay. So that's question A. Is this a sham? Looks like it. What would work better? Who should Mort work for? He should work for either the security party or Fred, right? Fred is the field warehouse company, so Fred should hire Mort full time and say, you work for us. If Mort works for Fred, is he an agent of the debtor? No. Problem solved. And usually with a field warehouse, there's somebody from the field warehouse company that is an employee of that company that stands there who's on guard. Field warehousing is not a weird thing. Field warehousing happens a lot. And if you think about it, think about the kind of collateral that's hard to move. Crude oil. Right? There's a lot of oil in tanks all over the country. Do oil companies borrow money? Sure. Do they want to grant security interest in their collateral in order to get good rates? Absolutely. Is it feasible to take the oil out of their storage tanks and put it in somebody else's storage tank? No. So they make an arrangement with a field warehouse company. They protect the field warehouse, the oil tank, for the benefit of the court. Question B here. Assume the warehouse receipt is validly issued and effective. Okay. And Kitty Delight signed a written security agreement covering the warehouse receipt and inventory representative of the bank gave Kitty Delight the money. Does the bank have a perfected security interest in the warehouse receipt?
Yes, for 20 days.
Why?
Because it's attached. You have temporary perfection for 20 days.
So temporary perfection is one of these forms of automatic perfection, right? Yeah. 20 days, the possession works for the 20-day grace period. The possession of the field warehouse receipt give you a security interest in the goods represented by that receipt. Yes. So remember what a field warehouse is, what a document is? It's a piece of paper that represents physical goods that are located somewhere, either a warehouse receipt or a bill of lading. Whoever issues that warehouse receipt is essentially giving the person who has possession of the warehouse receipt, it's negotiable, ownership of the property that they hold, or right to that collateral. So perfected security interest in the warehouse receipt is like having a perfected security interest in the underlying goods. Okay. So temporary, 20 days. After 20 days, what do they have to do?
They have to get possession.
Okay. There we go. Yes. Jen.
So going back to the field warehouse agent, I have two questions. What if the Kitty Delight gave Fred's Bailey the contractual right to come onto the property? Like they no longer have exclusivity over their own property.
I certainly think you can create contractual arrangements that are not shams, that look okay. You just got to make sure that the party that's there, that's acting on behalf of the field warehouse, doesn't have close enough ties to the debtor. Yeah.
And my second question is, could you just install like a continuously monitoring piece of technology that you put a camera on site and have some notice?
No idea. I actually don't know if that would work. That's a great question. I assume that the point is there has to be possession of some kind. The monitoring system doesn't feel like possession. So I would say no, that if it's only a camera, I don't think you have enough. I think you have to have some kind of control, physical control. And I'm sorry, I'm using a word that I told you not to use. You have to have some kind of physical relationship to the property in order for it to be possession. I don't think the camera has that. But I don't know of a case where this has come up. Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say, it's work for an armored car company, and you need more than cameras, you need people.
Yeah, you need people, right? Yeah.
That is in possession.
And the collateral in an armored car is what? Money. No,
Or
it's-
diamonds.
Oh, okay, or diamonds. Okay. Well, so goods. If it's money, it's the only way you can have possession. Perfection. You have to possess it. Cameras are not enough. I appreciate. So, and how do you know that? I'm just curious.
I worked for Knockout Meat, and they shipped primarily high-value diamonds and other jewelry.
And so the employees who were involved in shipping, the people in the armored car were working for the field warehouse, or
Yes.
yeah. So field warehouse was literally in the field, driving on the streets.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great.
In the Cali lesson, it was distinguishing between negotiable and non-negotiable.
Yes.
things, And I know you said negotiable in your lecture, but I don't think I really understand. Are we going to learn what that?
We'll come back to it. It's not yet important.
Okay.
We're going to talk about priority and stuff like that later. But the difference is a negotiable warehouse receipt or document is one that is transferable in the typical form of commerce, right? They just hand it over. A non-negotiable one says that merely that you can't readily transfer it. There has to be some other kind of agreement going on. Right? Yeah. The question to whether it's negotiable or non-negotiable deals with whether or not ownership is readily transferred by the piece of paper, or whether the warehouse receipt is not used to transfer ownership. And there are different circumstances.
I guess we saw that with the CD.
Yeah. We'll come back to it. Yeah. C made the bank. C is If Kitty Delight wanted to get the warehouse receipt back to the bank in order to present it to the warehouseman, Mort, to get the goods. Now, let's just stop there. If Mort is a legitimate warehouseman, right? He works for the field warehouse. Mort should not give Kitty Delight any property without the document. That's what this problem is saying. This is why it looks like a sham, right? Who does Mort get paid by? Kitty Delight. If the president of Kitty Delight comes to him and says, hey, I want the property, what's Mort going to do? Exactly. Here you go, right? That's bad if that's what he would do. Because what he should say is, be happy to, show me the paperwork. So in C, so long as they're doing it properly, and Mort says, show me the paperwork, can the debtor get access to the property and there still be perfection? Yes, and how long? 20 days. Okay. And this is a practical reason. The reason for this is sometimes the debtor needs to get to the collateral to help maintain it, get it ready for sale, do all those kinds of things. And so we don't want to create a system that allows collateral to sit in a field warehouse and lose value because the debtor can't make it, can't process it, can't use it, get it ready for sale. Yes?
So I just want to make sure, because it enumerates like certain items of when the debtor can have the property, like presentation collection.
Yeah.
So renewal would be that category of this, like cleaning for cleaning purposes?
Yeah, because if it's going down in value, you want the debtor to be able to get it ready for sale, and that's part of this.
Yep.
Yeah. 20 days, not forever, limited purpose, right? All right, and D. If the bank loses its profession, who would you sue? This is not really an Article 9 question, this is an Article 7 question, but who would you sue? If under question A we say it's not a good field warehouse, who's responsible for getting a bad field warehouse? Fred. You sue Fred. Fred promised to create a field warehouse, and Fred failed. Fred should be liable for not doing it. That's what I would sue. All right. 47. O&B may loan to Pi Solutions. They want to perfect by getting the patents. Does that work? No? Does anybody think here it might work? Oh, the way I said that, of course nobody's going to volunteer, because it sounded like why can you not perfect a security interest in a patent by getting possession of the patent certificate? First of all, what kind of category does patents fit into as collateral? General intangible. Can you perfect by possession of a general intangible? Nope. Have to file. So I don't even care what the patent certificates say, because they fall into the category of general intangibles. If you conclude that that's the case with a piece of collateral, you cannot perfect by possession. I don't care what you have. But actually, legally, this makes sense. Because when you own a patent, it's not the certificate that gives you rights. It's the fact that the government actually granted you the certificate. You can get 50 copies of that certificate. The certificates don't matter. It's the intangible rights. The patent gives you the right to sue other people for making, using, selling, offering for sale, or importing the patent. That's what you own. And that's intangible. So you can't possess it. Okay? So even though there are documents that are useful for certain kinds of property rights, if they don't actually evidence the right itself, which a patent certificate doesn't, is a general intangible. You can't possess it. So not possess, cannot possess it. You can't skirt the issues that deal with how to file. 48. Self-defense training school pledged 36 promissory notes. What kind of collateral is a promissory note? What's the category or type? Sorry? It's quasi-tangible. What subcategory of that? That is correct. Instrument. Okay, so this is an instrument. So we're asking, how do you perfect a security interest in an instrument? The party signed a security agreement. You have attachment. And the finance company took possession of the notes. Can you take possession of an instrument? Can you perfect by possession of an instrument? Well, let's take a look. What section of the statute should we look at? 9 through 13, right? A secured party may perfect a security interest in intangible negotiable documents, goods, instruments, money, blah, blah, blah. Great. So possession can be perfection for instruments. We're going to see it's not the only way, but it is a way. But what's the additional problem? They gave up possession of the promissory note. The finance company gave him the note, he puts it in his desk, and he forgets about it. On October 12th, the card school went bankrupt. Does the bank have a perfected security interest in any or all of the promissory notes? What's the answer to that? We're told to go look at 312G. What does 312G tell us? You can give up possession of an instrument for 20 days to allow the debtor to present it for payment. So a promissory note is a debt. The debtor can take the promissory note and go and say, hey, pay me, and they have 20 days to do it, and the secured party does not lose its perfection. They get temporary perfection for 20 days. Are they perfected in the other notes? Absolutely, 9 through 13A. Possession of a promissory note, an instrument, is a method of perfection. And there's also a 20-day temporary, they give up possession. But they get, as long as they get it back within 20 days. They have more than 20 days elapsed. So they lost perfection. They're no longer perfected in the security interest in the note. But they still have security interest. Has value been given? The others alone. Does the debtor have rights in the promissory note? Is there a promissory note? Is there a written agreement signed by the debtor describing the collateral? There's still attachment. So the bank can still say, hey, that's our collateral. But what's the problem? They filed bankruptcy. So now we have to worry about the trustee and bankruptcy. We haven't studied yet, but that's the issue. That's why you want to be perfect. Yeah?
If they do take the promissory note out and like the debtor goes and collects on it, then that money
Is proceeds, and we have not studied proceeds yet. Great question. It's called proceeds. We did look at a little bit about, do you have to refile when there's a disposition of the collateral? The answer is no, usually. So you're still perfect. Yes, Jay.
What if the guy's office burnt down before he declared bankruptcy and destroyed the document, the note itself?
So the question is
No one can have possession of the paper and no one can destroy it.
does it destroy the debt?
No, I would say.
No, that's the question. Does it destroy the debt?
No, everything's still attached.
I think there's probably a proceed in there that is the litigation that would ensue from the afterwards. That's a little bit more advanced than today. It's a great question. Not a bad question. There might be insurance proceeds. There might be some other way you could get the value back. Yeah.
But who would actually have protection of the note?
Because the nature of the collateral has changed, right? It doesn't physically exist anymore. There's a question of what's the next kind of collateral. It has converted into a different kind of collateral. We have not studied that yet. Okay, we're done with that part of the reading. And we're moving on to purchase money security interest. So we've done automatic. Now we're doing PMSI. Okay. Only a couple questions here. 49A. Bilco Siding has a security interest in all their currently owned consumer goods plus those acquired in the future. Did Bilco security interest attach to the sewing machines? As a sewing machine that's been acquired. What do we think? 9204B says you have to, it can only cover a collateral required within 10 days after the granting of the creation of the interest, right? The creditor's security interest in all consumers is held totally invalid, so you can't even say that. And also, more than 10 days have elapsed. So there's a bunch of reasons why this is no good, okay? All consumer goods and invalid form of description in the security agreement. Also, if it's a purchase money security interest, it has to, the acquisition has to occur within 10 days. It also didn't happen within 10 days. Was the loan agreement a purchase money security interest even though first finance was a lender and not a seller of the machine? There's two kinds of secured parties that can be purchase money secured parties. The company that sells the goods. If they sell the product and get a security interest along with the sale, they are a purchase money secured party. Can a third party bank also be a purchase money secured party? Yes. That is totally fine. Look at the definition of 9103A for purchase money secured party. They have to lend money to allow the creditor to acquire the collateral, and what's the extra part? And the money has to be used to do it. Was the money used to acquire the sewing machine in this case? Yes. So the example, I think problem C asks, what if they used the $80 to do something else with it? Then they didn't lend the money, and then the money wasn't actually used to acquire the sewing machine, then it's not a purchase money security. So if you're the bank, is it First National, the name of the bank here? How do you protect yourself so that you are a purchase money secured party? And you're lending money. Who should you send the check to?
To the sewing company?
Yes.
Somebody? Me?
Or at least issue the check in both names, so to the debtor and the secured party. But you need to make sure the money gets to the sewing company, because you're not a purchase money security interest if it doesn't. Okay? A purchase money secured party is somebody who has lent money to allow the debtor to apply collateral, and the money they lent was used to acquire the collateral. Two parts of it. Okay? Now the definition's a little funky. I will completely concede that 9103 is a crappy statute, crappy section of the statute. Most of this is pretty good. Why 9103 is hard to read. The element that's important is that the money is used to acquire the collateral, and in fact it was used to do so. So there's money lent, and the money was used to buy. Okay? Those are the two parts. D. If the money was used to buy the sewing machine, the finance company, assuming the ADOS was used to for the purpose, who gets the sewing machine? Right? First Financial, First National. They're the purchase money secured party. What we're going to see is being a purchase money secured party gives you extra benefits. It's a good thing. All right. I hesitate to have class on Friday because I think we can get through these remaining problems next week. So I'm just going to say let's meet next Wednesday and we'll work through these other problems together on next Wednesday, okay? But I am available if this is confusing. Where's the first place you can ask me a question?
In your email?
Your book, right. In my office and on the discussion board, okay? So if you're